Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the Forbidden Land podcast. Pretty boring episode this week. Not a lot happened. Quite frankly, I mean, pretty slow news week, I guess. That's right, folks. UK Prime Minister Keir Starmer has officially resigned as the UK Prime Minister. He will be stepping down after the Labour Party picks their new Prime Minister. Seems they're going to go with that one bloke. Yeah, so he announced his resignation.
Walking up this street 2 years
in the
ago,
most, pathetic way possible. Keep in mind, this guy's resigning essentially out of disgrace. He was a terrible prime minister, had all this political capital behind him, had this immense mandate. It was the first Labour government in 14 years. First Labour prime minister, obviously, in 14 years as a result. And he's, succeeding a long line of shit-ass prime ministers, like 5 shitty conservative prime ministers, who have all in their own way embarrassed themselves in some way, shape, or form, have slowly eroded the government in some way, shape, or form. Rishi Sunak being the guy that he's officially replaced. But think about who came before that. Liz Truss, the prime minister who killed the Queen and served for a month. Boris Johnson, the UK's Trump. David Cameron. I know there's one in between those two. I don't remember their name. Theresa May. That's what it is. Theresa May. But yeah, the Labour Party gained power. And what did Keir Starmer do? He took a big fat shit all over it. Just killed all of his support. But here, before I get to all that, here's his pathetic little speech.
It was the proudest moment of my life. A new Labour government, the first in 14 years. A page in our country's history turned after years of disappointment and despair. The chance to change the lives of millions of people for the better. That's what I came into politics for. The journey to that point was not easy.
Keep in mind, the journey to this point not being easy is his own damn fault. This man was undermining Jeremy Corbyn every step of the way, backstabbing, and betraying every bit of goodwill the Labour Party had, led to a devastating loss in 2019. All his fault, by the way. The fact that he even became the party leader is beyond me. That'd be like if somehow we elected Kamala Harris in 2 years. She goes, and folks, the road ahead was not an easy one. And it's like, yeah, you kind of made it really fucking hard for the Democrats to win anything in 2024. It's kind of your fault, bro. It's his fault. It's Keir Starmer's fault that the Labour government took this long to regain power. They probably would have regained power a little sooner if he didn't get involved. Keep in mind, this is a speech to resign in shame, essentially.
6 years ago, I inherited a Labour Party that was politically, financially, and morally bankrupt.
His fault.
I was told
His
time
fault.
and time again that my party was finished.
His
that
fault,
we were
man.
consigned to history. That a majority at the general election, let alone a landslide majority, was impossible. But we proved those people wrong because we changed our party, ripping out the poison of anti-Semitism, restoring
Oh my God. So he goes over how his party was in disarray after winning and becoming the Labour government, right? Something that's his fault, by the way, that the party was in disarray like this. He's the party leader. To then go on to talk about anti-Semitism and all this stuff that people were like, okay, he's only bringing up anti-Semitism because he's conflating it with Israel. And that's like the main focus of his whole government has been, how can we support Israel? How can we not improve the NHS? How can we easily hand the reins of the government back over to the conservatives? Which ironically, in the UK, not ironically, weirdly enough, horrifyingly enough, in the UK, it's actually worse. See, here, when the Democrats suck, right, it doesn't matter how bad the Republicans are. They will regain power if the Democrats fuck up even a little bit. We saw that with Trump's re-election in 2024. The Democrats threw the game away, and Trump was able to win a re-election. A historically unpopular president was able to win a second non-consecutive term because of the Democrats fucking up. In the UK, it's a little different. They have more parties. And so the conservatives have fucked up the government so bad that despite the Labour government not being all that great, despite the Labour government failing on multiple fronts, the conservatives aren't going to regain the power. The Reform Party is going to gain that power. And that is like the far right party in the UK. It's Nigel Farage's party. And Nigel Farage was the big Brexit guy. This dude is such bad news. So if you want to see like a right wing, like a hard right wing pivot in the UK, unlike anything you've seen in any other European country, that's what's about to happen because the Labour government is essentially dangling itself over a lava pit. And Keir Starmer's like, look, guys, I can hang on to the pit with one finger. Wow, look at that. Isn't that so cool? Oh, shit, I'm slipping. And the lava pit being, you know, the Reform Party. This dude's so stupid. Keep in mind, resignation and disgrace speech. Like, I don't know of any kind of resignation that would be not disgraceful. I guess maybe like my family needs me and I must look after my family before I take care of the government. Whatever the fuck it may be. Most resignations are out of disgrace or out of some embarrassing thing that happened. So this being his resignation speech, him being like, I'm so proud of the government we've been able to cultivate. Brother, then why are you leaving? Why are they replacing you with a guy that's infinitely more popular than you? Why are you so unpopular in the first place?
On the economy, defence and national security, and becoming a party that once again stood proudly with, not against, our national flag. The hard work of change was with a singular purpose, not power for power's sake, but to change Britain for the better, to build a fairer country with dignity and respect.
England seems about the same as it was 2 years ago. Am I wrong about that? I don't know. From an outsider perspective, England seems to be rocking the same shit as it was 2 years ago. From what I have read about him and what I know about him, he hasn't done a whole lot. At least nothing that the Conservative government wasn't doing.
Where everyone is seen, everyone is valued, wealth and opportunity for all, not just the privileged few. And look at what we've achieved in just 2 years. An economy that is stronger, growing faster than our peers. Wages rising faster than inflation in every single month since we came to power. Investment secured, infrastructure being built. An end to austerity, with the fastest fall in NHS waiting lists for 17 years. The biggest improvement in rights for workers and renters in a generation. The biggest uplift in defence spending since the Cold War.
Oh, man. I was like, all right, I guess he can rattle off his NHS thing, his infrastructure thing, the workers' rights, whatever. Whether any of that's actually true, I have yet to see, but the highest defense spending since the Cold War. This is why you suck, bro. This is why you suck, dog. I'm sorry, Labor Party voters. Do y'all want to hear that your government is spending more money on its military? Americans don't like that shit. At least my taste of Americans don't like that shit. Like, when I hear that we just increased our defense budget, I go, okay, that was money that could have gone towards, like, teacher salaries or new roads or, like, a train or, I don't know, wages for government workers, money that could have gone towards free healthcare. And see, the UK's got free healthcare. And you hear your prime minister being like, well, see, we've had the highest defense spending since the Cold War. Why? Are we in wartime right now? Like the US is, because of its own damn fault. But is the UK in wartime? Or is it peacetime? Who is the UK fighting? Like, I know Ukraine exists. I know Ukraine's getting invaded. I know they're at war with Russia. But the UK's not. That's what I'm saying. Like, what is the whole point of that? Why does the UK need higher defense spending? I've never understood that liberal idea of, oh, we need higher defense spending. For what? I don't get that. Why is that a flex for him?
Small boat crossings falling, asylum hotels closing, protecting young people from...
Damn, he's taking a fucking anti-immigration stance too in the resignation speech. You suck! Bro, you suck balls. You suck dick. And balls. Oh my god. This dude blows. Thankfully, even though the UK and the US have collaborated to bring destabilization to the Middle East for at least 100 years, if not more, we will officially be closing off any asylum seekers from Syria and abroad in regions we have personally tortured and maimed. It is the UK and the US's main mission for the last 120 years at least to destabilize the entire Middle East. And as a result, I will be denying any asylum seekers that wish to seek refuge in the UK. This is why you fucking blow, man. Good God.
social media, and 500,000 children being lifted out, 500,000, and half of closing, protecting young people from social media, and 500,000 children being lifted out of poverty because of the choices that I made. Our reputation in the world restored, with Britain once again standing up.
He just brought up the children's social media ban. Which is very unpopular in the UK, by the way. Like, very unpopular. Because it literally rips children away from a way to connect with other people. It makes abuse of household situations worse. You get the whole gist. Very unpopular law.
Decency, respect, and the rule of law. Securing trade deals, standing with Ukraine, standing up for our values, and rebuilding our relationship with our allies in Europe. Change promised by a Labour government. Change fought for by a Labour government. Change delivered by a Labour government. But I know the question being asked now is not who was best placed to change the Labour Party, to take us into power and to begin the vital work of improving lives for millions of people.
So why was the band going hard during this entire speech? Yeah, why was the band going so damn hard during that whole speech? I don't understand. I guess this is now the part where he goes, but alas, I do indeed fucking suck, and thus I must resign. I guess this is what this next part is.
Those questions have been answered. The question my party is asking now is whether I am best placed to lead us into the next general election.
Nope.
I have heard the answer of my parliamentary party to that question.
Nope.
And I accept that answer with good grace. Every decision I've taken has been about putting the country I love first. That is why I will resign as leader of the Labour Party. I have spoken to His Majesty the King this morning to inform him of my decision. I will ask the National Executive Committee of the Labour Party to set out a timetable with nominations opening on the 9th of July and completed by the summer recess. In the case of a contest, this will ensure a new leader is in place before Parliament returns in September.
You know, I gotta say, it really is the cowardly, pussified way out to go, instead of just admitting that you suck, instead of just admitting that you suck as the prime minister, to put all the blame on your own party, to be like, my party doesn't think I'm fit or cut out to be the prime minister of this new term. Dude, you suck. You were gonna cost your party the election. Like, actually, the Labour government would have collapsed in the upcoming elections. And I hope that his resignation and the introduction of this new guy, right? I hope that this Andy Burnham is the new guy. I hope that this turns out to be a Mark Carney situation, because when Justin Trudeau resigned, he did it for a reason. He did it because the elections were coming up. The Liberal Party was not in a good position. It was essentially only surviving the way that it was because the Quebecois were making deals with them. And the Conservatives were gaining a lot of momentum. Pierre Poilievre was, the Conservative leader, was looking to be the next prime minister at that point, and of Canada. And Trudeau resigned, and Mark Carney then took his place. And Mark Carney came out the gate swinging, attacked Trump, made all these rapid fire decisions, and it resonated so well with the Canadians that when their election came up, the Liberals held power in the government. They held on to power in the parliament. And Mark Carney's still the prime minister as a result. Granted, I think it's still a similar situation where the Liberals still have to, compromise and negotiate with the Quebecois and other parties. But overall, Liberals hold most of the seats when it's split amongst all the parties. They still have the majority. So yeah, I'm wondering if Andy Burnham will have a similar effect on the UK, where he's a popular enough prime minister to keep the Labour Party in power through the next election, and hopefully, pumps the brakes and is the final death blow for reform, because the Reform Party is genuinely dangerous. We don't need another Donald Trump in the UK. Like, people called Boris Johnson Donald Trump. Boris Johnson was like a goofy, incompetent, moderate Donald Trump. The Reform Party in the UK is genuinely dangerous in a way that, like, J.D. Vance would be a dangerous president, if you get what I'm saying. So yeah, that makes it 6 prime ministers in the last 6 years, going on 7 when Andy gets into office. 6 in the last 10 years. Kind of nuts. They go through leaders like fucking crazy. And then look at Canada. Trudeau was fucking prime minister for what, like 10 plus years. So here's what Randy Fine had to say about it, in case you were wondering. Randy Fine of Florida says, wonderful news that Keir Starmer is resigning as prime minister of the United Islamic Kingdom. I don't even know what to say about that. Like, what is his point? I already know Randy Fine is deeply anti-Islam, deeply anti-Arab, because he's super pro-Israel. But maybe he should be, pro-gym. He should try going to the gym. How about he resign from eating 15 meals a day? I just don't get why he would feel the need to say something like this, especially after we just heard in that speech where Keir fuckface Starmer is like, this is why I have personally banned every brown person from the UK. Thank you very much. Like, what more do y'all want, American Republicans? It's just so dumb. It really is. This guy's such a jackass. But I wanted to include that. Oh, here's the obligatory car photo, by the way. Why is it that British media always takes these types of photos of public officials that resign? that either resign, are about to die, or are voted out. Why is this always like the type of photo that they take? I don't get how they manage to do it every time. Yeah, look at this. Oh my god. Like, how? How do they do it? And why do they wait until like the very end to do it? There's never any photos like this beforehand. It's always like right up until the moment, you know. Oh man. Anywho, you already know what time it is. You already know. It's time to talk about Alrighty, so the memorandum of understanding is officially dead at this point. Israel has sabotaged it once again. They continue to bomb Lebanon and continue taking over Lebanon. It seems that Netanyahu has pretty much authorized them to do whatever they want in Lebanon. And yeah, Israel has completely dismantled not only the deal, but also like killed any future talks as well. And at least for a bit. And like, here's the moment when the Iranian delegation storms out of the room, and you just see the look on the Pakistan prime minister's face. Like, it's just so like sad for him, right? Because he wants this so bad. He wants to be known as the guy that brokered the peace deal between the U.S. and Iran. And look at his face when they leave. There's JD Vance all fucking stressed. JD Vance looks like a fucking cryptid, can I just say? I know he's a tall ass dude that lost a lot of weight, but he looks like a damn cryptid. Also, you're looking at who could possibly be the next president if Trump, you know, kicks the bucket. And I think a Vance presidency would be far more dangerous than a Trump one. Trump is so ego-driven and like narcissistic and incompetent that's why nothing ever gets done. Like shit gets done and then it gets undone and then it doesn't happen the way that they wanted it to, and then it completely blows up in their face. If Vance is president, that shit's getting done professionally, bro. Like the only thing Vance has fucked up is being in a Signal group chat, and he didn't even leak that shit, and he's just in there talking. You know, he didn't leak that. If that's his only thing that he has wrong with him, he's gonna be a dangerous president. But here's him like trying to remedy the situation with the prime minister.
How are the talks going so far, Mr. Vice President?
Oh, no. Dude, he looks fucking pissed. Look at him.
How are the talks going so
He looks so fucking pissed. And then look at like the switch up.
far, Mr. Vice President?
Damn. Damn. Bro's pressed. He did not fuck with that. He really gave her the look of like, are you fucking kidding me, motherfucker? You really waited till just now to ask me that?
Great, thank you.
Great, thank you. Bro, the people you're negotiating with left the room. They left the building. They left. Then as they're leaving, by the way, Trump issues this threat. He went on Fox and he decided to say, he threatens Iranian officials by saying, quote, won't even make it back to your fucking country. He said that if they do not open the Strait of Hormuz, they, quote, would not have a country. That's what he told Fox pretty much. He said, you won't even make it back to your fucking country. It's a direct assassination threat. This was while the Iranian delegation was getting ready to fly back to Tehran. And they literally said that it's because of Israel. Oh, my buddy. Pro-Israel, by the way. It's because of Israel not pulling out of Lebanon, which was one of the terms of the MoU. And Iran knows, like, you might be thinking like, oh, that's unfair, you know, making the U.S. lose its MoU because of another country. Israel's our attack dog. We have the power to stop our attack dog. You know, we've made the boss calls before. If Israel can't stop attacking Lebanon, even after we've told them to stop, then you've got a rogue state and you've got to, you know, close the money lever. That's how we keep them in line. We call them up, we go, we're going to pull your funding. Stop fucking doing this. And they go, okay. And he's not doing it. He's not making the boss call. If he was, they wouldn't be currently bombing Lebanon and tarnishing that deal. So pretty insane shit. I mean, I literally thought this shit would be pretty much over at this point. But it's not, and it won't be any close to being over, because here's the Minister of National Security, our favorite guy, Itamar Ben-Gvir, who I've talked about before as being a little bitch, a little baby back bitch. He backs down to every challenge. You've seen it before. He's been physically like bucked at in public before, and he's like, please no, you're not an Arab 7-year-old. I'm going to get my ass beat. Here's what he said, and he tweeted it in Hebrew, by the way. So you already know we're about to get some fucking Adolf Hitler style spitting over here. Those Hitler bars. He tweeted in Hebrew, "For every tear of an Israeli mother, 1,000 Lebanese mothers must weep. All of Lebanon must burn. With all due respect to the Americans, Israel must make it clear to the entire world that the blood of our sons and the security of our citizens are not forfeit. All of Lebanon must burn. Our supreme duty is to protect the citizens of Israel and the soldiers of the IDF, and the commitment takes precedence over every other consideration. I told the Prime Minister, even in our private meetings, for every tear of an Israeli mother, 1,000 Lebanese mothers must weep. Enough with the ping pong. In the Middle East, you don't win with measured responses and restraint. You need to go berserk, to obliterate, to crush the terror." Now, if you're wondering why Netanyahu used to call Obama boy and why the Israelis hated the JCPOA, this is why. Because in the absence of a JCPOA, in the absence of a peace deal with Iran, Israel can continue murdering and mutilating and destroying Lebanese children and Lebanese families. And they can continue demonizing Iran, being like, look, they're going to have a nuke in 5 minutes. They can't say that when there's a peace deal. And I find it very interesting that he says in the Middle East, you don't win with measured responses and restraint. You need to go berserk. Look in the mirror, guys. Every peace deal drafted up with Israel, agreed to by Israel in the last couple years, they have violated. Every peace deal that they've signed up for in the last 70 years, they have violated. So I just find it disgusting and violent and ridiculous that Ben-Gvir is like, well, there is no such thing as negotiation peacefully. You must just eviscerate the entire population. You must commit more genocide in other places. Take the Gaza genocide and make it global. That's pretty much what it is. They're upset that they can't just do their unlimited genocide on more brown people. So yeah, dirty little Itamar Ben-Gvir. It's so gross. Here's him saying on camera shit about Lebanon.
מסוימים במדינת לבנון. לבנון, כל לבנון צריכה להפוך להיות מגרש המשחקים שלנו. כל לבנון צריכה להיות מטרה של...
Lebanon, all of Lebanon should become our playground. All of Lebanon should be our goal. And I say to myself, wait a minute, but there is Lebanon and there is Hezbollah. I don't accept this artificial approach. Lebanon has a country. There is a name in the Lebanese government. Hezbollah members are ministers on behalf of Hezbollah. They have a revolving door policy. Let me go check the door. Damn, upstairs neighbor's final boss. Just fucking sounds like he just rolled an ancient sundial into his fucking apartment. Dude, it sounds fucking crazy. You know the dime that Mr. Krabs had in his back pocket in that one SpongeBob episode? That's what it sounds like he just rolled up the stairs into the apartment. Holy shit. What the fuck is bro bringing in here? God damn, he like brought in the damn boulder, bro. Anyway, sorry about the sidetrack. Anyway, yeah, Ben-Gvir is essentially saying that he wants to flatten Lebanon and take it for himself, which is what they've been trying to do in Gaza this whole time. They're trying to flatten it out as much as possible and take it for themselves. And you already know that the no entry zone of Gaza, the part that they've been pushing further and further to the coastline until they've eviscerated the entire population. You already know they're starting to build shit on there. You already know it. There's no way they're not. They're already probably building shit on that land. And that's their plan. Them taking Lebanon, if the rest of the Middle East thinks it's safe, it's not. This is why Iran is fighting so hard for Lebanon. Partially because I'm sure they care about the Lebanese to some extent and hate Israel, but also because this is the greater Israel project. Something we used to talk about as sounding like a conspiracy on this podcast to, no, this is the plan. Netanyahu sees his opportunity. He's got Trump, who's like the most pro-Israel president in the last 70 years. And he knows this is his last chance to achieve greater Israel. And he's like, well, fuck it, I'm going to start now and hopefully I can get enough pieces of it. Him taking Lebanon will then lead to, oh, well, now let's take some of Syria. We already have claimed the Golan Heights. Let's take more of Syria. So Syria's next. Oh, they're like hammering shit in, bro. Syria's next. Then it'll be Jordan. And then they'll just keep going. I think parts of Iraq are part of that too. Turkey as well, like parts of Turkey. Some of the Sinai is part of it as well. That's their whole project in Israel. That's why Itamar Ben-Gvir is so confident talking like that. Here's Israel's strongest soldier, Lindsey Graham, on Face the Nation, completely shitting himself on camera. I mean, it's just so ridiculous that he can say something like this about a foreign nation that has its own rights and its own autonomy.
Let's try a diplomatic solution. I think it's going to fail. What happens next? I spent 4.5 hours with President Trump Friday. Here's what I think will happen next. If this deal fails, President Trump is going to take the Strait of Hormuz over by force. The United States...
And what gives the United States the right to do that? This is where we're really pushing the line of what the U.S. can do abroad. Because, you know, when we were putting military bases everywhere, when we launched attacks on other countries, usually the reasoning was like, oh, the Cold War, communism, all that crap. And the Western world just kind of accepted it, even though it was unacceptable. But with this, going in and saying, we're going to take over by force this country's trade route. It's theirs. We're going to take it over by force. What gives us the right to do that? It's not their fault that a lot of our that like a percentage of our oil comes from that area. It's not their fault. It's our fault. You know, don't poke the bear if you get all your honey from that bear. You know, don't poke the bear then. Because when you poke the bear and then the bear starts putting his paw over the honey jar, you can't just get mad and start burning the forest down in an attempt to get your hands on that honey jar. So, yeah, this shit's ridiculous. And, of course, Lindsey Graham, you know, who is Israel's strongest defender, Netanyahu's right-hand man. Of course he's saying shit like this. Shit that I think would even make, like a lot of old-school Republicans from his era kind of be like, ugh.
We'll control the Strait of Hormuz. We'll charge a fee for all those who go through through to pay for the operation, and we're going to expand the Abraham Accords in calendar year 2026. We're going to get Saudi Arabia to join the Abraham Accords, and
So we're going to expand the deal that led to the events of October 7th. Why? Why would you want to do that? The Abraham Accords are very harmful to Middle Eastern relations. It's literally, here's this pact you're going to make with the U.S. We're going to make you do it if you want to keep being allies with us. And it effectively unites this entire U.S.-backed coalition of countries in a way that can then, one, these countries are now, pillows for Israel. They'll take all of the military fire from Iran, from Yemen, from Hezbollah, from Hamas, stuff like that. They'll take all the fire from those groups. That way Israel doesn't have to deal with it. That's pretty much what it is. It's a pact that creates cannon fodder. And it led to circumstances where Hamas did October 7th. The Abraham Accords directly contribute to that event. Same with the U.S. recognizing the Golan Heights as being Israel's and moving the embassy to Jerusalem. All of these events culminated on October 7th.
which is the biggest change in 5,000 years in the Mideast. And if Iran contests control of the Strait of Hormuz by the United States, we will obliterate them. So to all the people listening, if this diplomatic effort...
I like how this is no different from what Ben Gvir was saying, except this time it's in English. It's coming from one of our congressmen. It's, if you don't reopen the Strait of Hormuz and let us have free, unfettered access through it, we're going to obliterate you. Fuck off. We attacked them. I don't even need to explain why this is so stupid. But it's deliberately stupid. Like, they're just saying all of this. They're not going to do anything. They already know that the war with Iran is deeply unpopular, that further fighting with Iran is going to lead to more losses monetarily and in terms of human life. They already know it's not going to happen. They're literally delaying negotiations and dragging it out this long to probably rearm themselves. Like that's what the U.S. is probably doing. Or it's trying to buy time so it can rearm the Iron Dome. But yeah, I mean, I don't see it being feasible for the U.S. to, continue fighting in this war in any capacity. I don't think we're going to get to the point of obliteration in Iran. I think we're going to get to crying about it until accepting somehow a worse deal than the one we signed the week prior, where we basically spent $400 billion to start, fight, and end a war with Iran in the matter of 4 months. And we get jack shit out of it. I think we're going to somehow see a worse deal because Trump's going to get desperate.
fails, President Trump is going to take the Strait of Hormuz. Yeah. We're going to run it. We're going to try to get Saudi Arabia to join the Abraham Accords to end the Arab-Israeli conflict in 2026. And if Iran continues to attack Israel and Lebanon, the new policy will be we'll hit Iran. So to the...
Hold on, what?
In Lebanon, the new policy will be continues to attack Israel and Lebanon, the new policy will be we'll hit Iran. So
Israel invades Lebanon, and by proxy, Iran supports Hezbollah fighting back. And Iran has also bombed Israel in defense of Lebanon. Okay, so the country that attacked Lebanon is getting attacked back by an ally of Lebanon. And Lindsey Graham is mad that the country Israel attacked has another country coming in and defending it. Interesting. the logic here is infallible. But it's spoken like a true AIPAC affiliated Zionist.
To the Iranians, if you're listening, when you use Hezbollah to attack Israel, I think the new policy will be we will attack Iran.
Ooh, so scary. I don't even think this man needs AIPAC money. I think if the AIPAC money dried up, he'd still be bouncing on it for Israel. I think he loves Israel that much that he would torch his career and bounce on it sexual style for Israel. Wow. Well, all right. I'll keep my eye on the war. We're gonna monitor the situation, folks. Yeah. I mean, I guess we'll see. If he comes to a deal next week, you'll know because the episode will also be named Iran War, the new deal. Give you a little preview in case he actually does something like that. In better news, the New York primary was this week. And folks, we've done it. DSA sweep, baby. Let's go. All of the candidates that Mamdani endorsed won their primary. Almost every DSA candidate won their primary. Brad Lander dethroned Dan Goldman. Dan Goldman was a very pro-Israel incumbent representative from District 10, and he led the impeachment inquiry into Trump. So like really what used to be popular Democrat. And he lost in a historic fashion in the primary. Brad Lander beat him 65.8% to Dan's 34% flat. Eviscerated him in the primary. Awesome. So that's Trump, or not Trump, that's Mamdani back candidate number 1. Valdez won her primary in District 7 and dethroned the other 2 candidates in historic fashion, 56%. So good job to Claudia Valdez. But where's the big one of the night? Let's see. Where is the big one of the night? Oh, yeah. There was a big one that happened. And that is Daria Liza beating the Hispanic caucus leader, Adriano Espaillat. I think it's Espaillat, actually. I don't remember. It might be Espaillat. Adriano Espaillat lost, the incumbent lost by 2,300 votes to Daria Liza. Awesome. In the District 13 race, awesome. She definitely had the most contentious race, the most close race of all of them. She was definitely up against greater odds than the other 2 that were endorsed by Zoran Mamdani. And it's nice to see that she pulled out a good win. This was a good night for DSA, which I must remind you, if you're not part of DSA, you should sign up for it. Pay your monthly dues. That's how they're able to run races like this. Join your local chapter. Pay your monthly dues. I'm in the Atlanta DSA, if you're wondering. And I pay monthly dues. So if you're down with the DSA and what it stands for, join the DSA. Because that's what they just did in New York. They just achieved, they basically just got more Mamdanis elected to higher positions of office. So pretty awesome. The fact that, this is why they're so scared. The fact that Daria Liza just dethroned the Hispanic leader, Hispanic caucus leader in the House. Insane. What an achievement. So big things coming out of New York. DSA sweeping the board. Great news for the DSA. And my favorite thing is seeing Sean Hannity tear up over this loss for Dan Goldman.
right, this is a Fox News alert. Incumbent Congressman Dan Goldman, who was just banned from a New York City coffee shop because of his support for Israel.
Not true from what I've read. From what I've read, he didn't even go into the shop. But whatever, I digress.
He has now lost his primary to a radical socialist backed by Mamdani. It appears that, a pretty scary transformation is now fully underway in the Democratic Party, especially in a blue state like New York. Right,
dude, he's crying. He's crying, bro. Oh my God, this dude's washed, by the way. He went from enjoy your fancy burger, President Obama, to this comes after a major endorsement by Mamdani. I just closed out of my dog. Fuck. So unprofessional of me. Fuck. Yeah, seeing Sean Hannity tear up over this is awesome. And they're so scared, bro. He literally said, this is scary. He's already priming you on how to react. I don't know what the fuck is going on outside this apartment. They are like building a new home upstairs, it seems. But my dog is not fucking with it. Here's the this one actually kind of did tick me off a bit. New York Attorney General. Oh my God, dude. New York Attorney General Letitia James, who was just endorsed by AOC, went on CNN and attacked Mamdani and all of the other candidates that he endorsed to win last night. This is what she had to say about the candidates. She said that she and other Democratic leaders are disappointed and said, all of us are a little frustrated with the Democratic Party, but you don't blow it up. That's what MAGA has done. Folks, if something doesn't work, isn't it kind of the whole point to change it? If shit ain't working right, if the Democratic Party is full of these corporate Dems who only care about making a paycheck, and someone like Mamdani comes in and shows people that, no, your elected officials work for you. Here's what it looks like when we actually get shit done and when people actually give a fuck. When he shows people that, and then people rightfully vote for more people that are just like him. I mean, isn't that like the ideal? That's the vision of the Democratic Party I had when I was growing up. That I thought the Democratic Party was what Mamdani is. Somebody who actually gets shit done and stands up to the opposition and actually cares about the people. That's what I thought the Democratic Party was when I was growing up. So I was naive, I was young, I was a child. And, I thought like, man, Obama is like getting shit done. He's fighting for us. He's changing things. Not, realizing once I got older that he did some things, but he didn't do a whole lot. He didn't do as much as he said he would. Mamdani has shown that the Democrats can do better, that you should expect more of your elected officials. And I said this back when he won, that this would have future implications, because you can point to Mamdani and go, look, that's working. He's doing a great job. And of course, now that he's endorsing people to also run for Congress on his style of politics, his type of agenda, and all these people are great. They're trustworthy, it seems, and seem like they'll actually pull through like Mamdani has. I would say that's the idea of a Democratic Party that we should have all had. And people like Letitia James, washed-ass Letitia James, being like, his only claim to fame is going after Trump at this point. Like, her being like, oh, you don't destroy the Democratic Party from within like that. You don't blow it up. We're not blowing it up. We are simply aligning the Democratic Party with the values that it claims to have, that it pretends to have, but we're making it actually hold those values. You know, good economic change that leads to better material conditions and a more comfortable life for you and your family. To make the playing field more fair. To make it seem like you aren't just wasting your life away working for some corporate overlord. You know, that's the ultimate goal here, is to make everybody comfortable. There's a reason why not everybody can have a yacht. Because then who's going to do the work that actually matters? And so that's the point. If you do the work that actually matters, why can't you have a yacht? You know, I want to create a system where if you do the work that actually matters, you can have luxury. You can live comfortably. Get rid of the system that allows people to do nothing and yet have everything, and the people that do everything have nothing. So, fuck Letitia James. Because of this recent win, Trump is now pitching a giant fit, that housing bill that would ban corporations from owning property. Trump is now saying he will not sign it until the SAVE Act passes. He's pulling out the SAVE Act playbook. He's crying about it. You know, he's basically saying he wants to prevent communism from entering our elections, which is just outright admitting that this bill would gut the chances of the Democrats of winning those races, even though it really wouldn't in New York. He's just outright saying it at this point, that he wants to stop the opposition from winning. And so he said he wants the SAVE Act to pass, and he ain't gonna sign the housing bill until it does. And here's what he said when a reporter asked him about if he cares more about that bill than he does about Americans.
Go ahead.
Buying a home is unattainable for so many Americans. Is this election legislation more important to you than resolving the housing crisis?
This is every election's important. We're doing very well. They want a lot of communists to come in. I'm saying it a little bit differently, but the people that they're pushing are communists, and this country is not going to have communists. Thank you very much.
Literally admitting it out loud that we need to pass the SAVE Act to prevent DSA candidates from winning elections in this country. Actively admitting to trying to rig the upcoming election with this bill. Just giving the game away in the most open way possible, because he knows he doesn't have to hide it anymore. So look at that fucking... Oh my God, dude, the sack on his face. Oh my God. Dude, look at that fucking... What do you think he keeps in there? In the nussy, huh? You think he like stores fake gold in there or something? But yeah, just outright admitting at this point that the SAVE Act is to prevent these DSA candidates from winning in November. Not even trying to hide that he knows he's going to bomb the midterm. That he's going to absolutely suck at the midterm. And speaking of the midterm, the Michigan race, which still hasn't had its primary. As we said, the primary is in August, which is fucking crazy, by the way. Either have all the primaries around the same time, you know, either push them all at the end of summer, or have them all in the beginning of the year, like we have been. I think it's a bit ridiculous we keep having all these scattered primaries that happen when have them all around the same time. What, are people going state to state to vote in each one? You need to have time to get to the next state over? No, you're only voting in one primary. Just have them all at the same time. Why can't we do that? Why are we doing it like that? It just draws out the races and increases campaign funds, you know. It lets the campaign fund money keep flowing, if you get what I'm saying. So the Michigan race, Haley APAC Stevens posted this cringe ass video, and brace your eyes.
A millionaire. I'm not a millionaire.
I want you to brace your eyes for this. It's gonna hurt. Every time I see this woman, I die a little bit inside. She's so cringe. Just so So cringe. And has nothing like good to say. And she somehow looks worse than McMorrow in this video.
I'm not a millionaire, but last time I checked, you were. Why don't you release those tax returns? Let us see who's paying you and making you rich.
That's what she's saying to Abdul al-Sayed. A doctor.
I'm not a millionaire, but last time I checked, you were. Why don't you release those tax returns? Let us see who's paying you and making you rich.
He's a doctor. Like, he's a doctor. And I'm pretty sure this is not going to be effective messaging for people that already like al-Sayed. He's literally a doctor. Like, I don't understand what she thinks is going on here. He has a medical degree. He has a doctorate. I don't get what her point is here. But good God, what a jump scare that face is sometimes. Ay, ay, ay. Here's this clip I was going to play last week, and I ended up not playing it to save time. But you need to see this clip.
First sport. And you're walking with the congresswoman. Yes. Oh my God.
Oh my God. Oh my God. You are all now my elite employees. That's what it reminds me of.
It's your first sport. And you're walking with the congresswoman. Yes. Oh my gosh, please.
Well, thank you so much for your community service.
Yeah.
Yeah. I was wondering, with all the support of Republicans and people who are anti-choice and people who are working to disrupt our election systems that AIPAC is doing, I'm wondering why you're accepting their support. I'm a Jew and my family lives here in this community.
Yeah.
And I
Can I just say the balls it takes to ask this kind of question, like this, to ask a representative directly this kind of question after you just took a picture with her and everything, and you have your son on your chest. Kudos to this person, dude. This is awesome. More people should do this to their elected officials.
really think that those kinds of candidates are making the Jewish people less safe. I'm wondering what you're accepting there.
Well, thank you so much for coming and bringing your kiddo. It's so nice to meet with you.
It's nice to meet you too, but I'm just wondering, I want to make life and this country safe place for him to grow up in. I'm wondering why you would want to accept their endorsement and $800,000 in ads this year.
Yeah. Guys, I have received, how many endorsements have I received this election? I think I've got a lot of local labor and you
are a great representative and we really appreciate your support. I'm just hoping.
Wow. So, diverse from the question, gaslights her with, we get a lot of grassroots funding from a lot of local labor places and whatnot, and then just walks off. Not a good look. Not even close to a good look. I'm surprised she's still polling as high as she is. Like, I know people are like, oh, Abdul al-Sayed's in first place. He's taking the lead. He's only up by like 2 points, and that might be within the margin of error in most polls. I'm a little nervous at just how high she's polling. Like, how is somebody this deeply unpopular polling that high? I just don't know. Yeah, her top donors are AIPAC. And Blackstone Group. Oh my God, dude. Okay. Yeah, I just don't understand how she has this much support. Let's talk about someone who's polling at 9% in the polls and has just completely tanked her campaign. Mallory McMorrow. Crazy fall and blunder in this race.
There has been a lot of...
Here's her making a wild association that I'm shocked was even allowed to be said on air. And I want you to watch what the reporter does, because she kind of like signals for someone after this answer. It's pretty bizarre.
Support on the left for Abdul El Sayed. He's been endorsed by Hassan Piker, who has millions of followers on social media, mainly people under the age of 30. I mention this because he is a very controversial figure. And in March, you compared him to white supremacist Nick Fuentes. Now, Piker spoke to Detroit Public Radio about that yesterday. I want you to take a listen and respond.
There's so much diversity of choice in where people can get their news from, so people can come to me directly and figure out what I'm actually about. So that was one of the reasons why that smear campaign failed spectacularly. People started looking at Abdul's campaign. People started hearing what he was saying, and they liked it. And lo and behold, he was in third place before this smear campaign started, and now he's comfortably in first place.
I want to give you a chance to respond to that.
I'll give my answer. It's pretty clear that during these midterm primaries in this upcoming election that Israel has become a poisonous association to have. It's very clear to me that being pro-Israel and being funded by AIPAC or AIPAC-affiliated groups is essentially a death wish for your campaign. We've pretty much seen that happen at this point.
Certainly. There's a responsibility for whoever we nominate as our next U.S. Senator.
And keep in mind, her campaign literally reached out to AIPAC-affiliated groups to feel out potential donations.
Recognize we
allegedly
have to build and expand a big tent. My opponent made a decision to bring in Hassan shortly after there was an attack on a synagogue here in Michigan where a man drove a pickup truck into a synagogue where 140 preschoolers were at school that day. And had it not been for the security measures, the bollards in place, it could have been the largest mass killing of kids in this country's history. And to bring somebody in to represent your campaign, in my mind, is a bit more. A man drove a pickup truck into a synagogue where 140 preschoolers were at school that day. And had it not been for the security measures, the bollards in place, it could have been the largest mass killing of kids in this country's history. And to bring somebody in to represent your campaign, in my mind, is a very different decision than going on somebody's stream and talking to their audience.
I think it's wildly irresponsible to make the association that bringing on an anti-Israel figure after an anti-Semitic terror attack, like saying that he in any way is somehow tied to or even partly responsible for anti-Jewish attacks is insanely irresponsible to even make that claim. Like, that's incredibly dumb to even try to make that claim. And I think it's really gross. It goes along with the whole conflating Zionism with Jewishness and trying to be like, oh, this guy hates Israel, so he hates Jews. It's gross to even make that kind of association, that conflation. And it's wildly irresponsible to say that this guy who is just simply anti-Israel, is popular in the progressive movement, is somehow even slightly tied to, or maybe even slightly responsible for the attack on the temple. So yeah, I think that's really gross of her to even say something like that. And this is why she's polling at 9%. Yeah, this is why she sucks. You can't take a centrist progressive position. That's an oxymoron. It doesn't work. You can either vote for Haley Stevens, who's the moderate Democrat in the race, or Abdul Al-Sayed, who's the progressive left-winger in the race. You can't vote for this chameleon, flip-floppy, is she progressive, is she moderate? Oh, she's a little mix of both. Why would you want the diet soda when you can get the classic or the new? You know, you can either get Cherry Coke and Abdul Al-Sayed, or you can get Coke Classic and Haley Stevens. Nobody's going to want to go for the Diet Coke and Mallory McMorrow. And that's why she's polling so damn low. You know, and Cherry Coke's got that nice, bold, new little flavor that makes it little more refreshing than a Coke Classic. So that's why people like Abdul al-Sayed. If I were to put it in terms of food, you know, perfect for me, being the fat little kid that I am. Being the fat little chud that I am. Yeah. One last thing. I want to do a little follow-up because I've been covering this the last couple weeks. And it's that damn reflecting pool, bro. So the Trump administration is now trying to claim that people are vandalizing the pool. As you saw that video of the big chunk of paint floating at the top of the pool. He's now claiming that radical liberals are going to the pool and vandalizing it. And they've been like arresting people for just leaning down and looking into the pool. I believe the one that took that video that I showed is being like investigated right now. Like it's crazy. It's literally, this is what they were saying Stalin was doing during the height of the beginning of the Soviet Union. Like he's literally arresting people for looking into the reflecting pool and seeing the shitty paint job that they did. And the fact that all that hydrogen peroxide destroyed the paint at the bottom of the pool. And now they've been erecting a fence at the pool. So good job, guys. We've vandalized and destroyed the pool as the administration. We've destroyed this landmark. And to cover up our failures, our expensive ass failures, and our embarrassing mistake, we are now going to restrict your access to it, to a public monument that is infamous. We're now restricting your access to it. And Trump said that you can simply ask somebody and they'll show you the huge gash that he claims is in the pool. TMZ did try to get access to that, and here's what happened.
Everyone, I'm coming to you from the Park Police headquarters. The reason why I'm here is because Trump told reporters yesterday, if you want to get evidence of the 350-foot slit in the Lincoln reflecting pool that's been the reason for all this mess, that you could come to the Parks Department and they will show it to you. I was calling them this morning, met with no answers, so I thought, you know what? I'm going to go in person. Turns out this facility is in the middle of nowhere. The weather right now is awful. My umbrella's blowing away right now, but screw it. I thought I wanted to see it. I wanted to see this slit. So I came here, I was ringing the doorbell, no one was answering, until finally I was met with a secretary who came out and gave me this pink note card with the PIO's email on it. So I'm still left with no answers. And President Trump, who said that the Parks Department will show you the evidence, is wrong. They're either not listening to him or there is no 350-foot slit as far as...
I think it's pretty clear there isn't one. I just find it really bizarre that the Trump administration is going to these lengths to cover up something as simple as fucking up the pool. And they're the ones who made it a big deal. Why make it such a big deal and then fuck it up and then get mad that people are noticing you fucked it up and then trying to cover up the fact that you fucked it up and it's the Streisand effect, drawing more attention to it. Ay. Talk about the fucking USSR from the fucking 40s and 50s. Oh my God. All right. That's it for this episode. If you want to support this podcast, you can go to patreon.com/forbiddenlandpod. If you want to listen to this podcast audio only, you can go to Spotify, Apple Podcasts, all those great platforms. Your Samsung fridge, maybe, if it supports that. And yeah, say hi to my dog, River. Yeah, he's laid out. He's sleepy. And yeah, thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. And that's it. I'll see y'all in the next one. Peace.